Bonney versus Pudding, me on the Pudding side here, and I ended up taking the die roll. Don't be distracted by the fact that my opponent has 2 Dawn right now. I am the 2 Dawn wizard. Opponent made a mistake there, but it didn't really matter as they had no plays anyways, and they're going to make sure that they correct it and go up to 3 Dawn here. But I am on the even curve, which means I kept a pretty solid hand. I have the Bond Clay, which basically allows me to immediately get to 10 on my 4 Dawn turn. For those following along at home, 2 Dawn, or if you're on going second with Pudding, all you have to do is attack with leader and then use some other ramp source to ensure that you're at 10 Dawn on your fourth turn. So it makes getting to 10 Dawn a lot easier. Obviously, if you do it on your first turn pretty successfully, that can obviously swing games as you're getting to 10 Dawn way faster than your opponent is. But alas, I am able to do a little bit of shenanigans here. We're gonna go ahead and think about what I want to do here. We're playing against Bonney, right? You gotta play out a sequence, right? I've got the Bond Clay in hand. I'm at 4 Dawn, you know, perfect, right? Chef's kiss moment. Just play Bond Clay, right? Use that extra Dawn, slap it on your leader. Happy days. Well, I don't want my Bond Clay to get tapped. So instead, we're going to make a different play here. Instead of playing the Bond Clay out, we're going to go ahead and do the Pudding effect here. Opponent did hit me once, and I did allow that to happen. We're going to go ahead and ramp 1, reveal a 9-drop Mom, and a 6-drop Sanji 2K as my top 2 life there. We're going to go ahead and swing, and then I'm going to play the Viola instead. Nice little trick here is play Viola, flip those life down, ask your opponent, hey, what cards did I have revealed in my life? And if they've forgotten, then honestly, it's on them. It's a nice little pop quiz that you can play every time you play. But yeah, Viola's a nice little blocker here. Blockers not very effective against Bonney. Bonney can just tap the blockers when you attack. So I don't suspect this Viola will save me at any point in this game. Right, Viola is just a nice way for me to get in some damage, take my opponent down to 4 life, and then just allow me to reset my ramp. Now I don't need any other card other than my leader here to get myself up to 10 Dawn. Opponent's going to go ahead and play a Pedro out and then swing 1K, leaving that 1 Dawn open, saying, I'm going to tap your Viola. And I said, sure, go ahead. I honestly don't care. All right, go to my turn here. This would be a great turn to have 7-drop Mom right now. Unfortunately, I did not see her. I think 7-drop Mom is like the perfect curve filler, especially for these off turns where you're just like sitting on 7 Dawn, don't have much to do here. I do have a Bond Clay to play, and likely that's what I'm going to do this turn after we attack, right? Make sure you attack first, always, because Bonney do Bonney things, Bonney rest you. So you always got to play a little differently, and honestly, it's a little annoying, but you got to do it to make sure that you can have some kind of advantage over your opponent here. We're going to go ahead and attach 3 Dawn here. Going to go ahead and start with the swing. We're going to activate leader effect yet again. We're going to reveal. Actually, I chose not to, right? So this is me putting my opponent completely like on their memory game of. Did you remember what I revealed earlier, right? Did you remember there's a 9 Mom on top of my life and then a Sanji underneath? I guess if you didn't, then oh well, right? And then I'm going to play the Bond Clay out instead. And I kind of keep that life a secret in case my opponent wasn't paying attention. They might think I have 2 Beiges on top. Who knows? But I'm going to leave that 1 Dawn up, representing a Radical Beam here. And attacked again in such a way so my Bond Clay doesn't get tapped, though my Bond Clay could definitely eat the dust, potentially to that Pedro here. Pedro, pretty darn good in Bonney. I mean, if you attack into Pedro with a character that costs 6 or less, or attack leader and they just block with Pedro, Pedro immediately just snipes it back, right? So they can do that as a defensive play, and then they can also tap your thing down and then like kill something else, right? So like if you attack them, they tap this thing down, like this other thing down, and then you swing with and then you attack, and then Pedro blocks it and they blow the other thing up, right? So it allows a lot of counterplay for Bonney, and it's honestly pretty annoying. But I digress. Opponent here going to play out. The Hody Jones going to go ahead and Hody Jones a little early here. Going to take themselves down to 3 life. I'm completely happy for that because I want to start playing big threats here. Hody Jones is probably going to swing 8K here. Going to go ahead and get a 5K lead. And actually, no, 5K Bond Clay. Good shot, good shot. Because that Bond Clay was going to be swinging heavy next turn. And then opponent almost passed his turn, and I'm like, hey, you got a Hody Jones. And so he goes in and swings Hody Jones. I'm going to go ahead and take that 8K, knowing we got a 9 Mom back in hand. Unfortunately, 9 Mom only returns a 6 or less to your opponent's life. So it can't hit the Hody Jones here, but I am likely going to use the 9 Mom anyways to put the Pedro on the bottom of the life there and gain me a life. Just because if I wanted to play Ace this turn, I definitely could, but Ace doesn't have Rush because I'm at 2 life. So honestly, not very good here. This also allows me to kind of take a moment here to play a Pudding. Like Pudding's going to be able to find me something. Pudding has 2 choices In the fraction of the hand you can see on screen, we got the 7-drop mom and the 6k Sanji. Pudding can find Sanjis. Pudding can find Charlotte family or Big Mom Pirates and Sanji. So I could add just that 2k Sanji to hand. It's also a nice little blocker if I need it to be later in the game. Or we could just add the 7 mom to hand. I think we're just going to elect to put the Sanji in hand here, as that is likely the better play, but who knows. Sometimes I just always like to grab the big moms. But, you know, me in the future says, hey, put the 2k in hand. Good guy. I'm glad I made the right choice. We're gonna put the 2k in hand, and then we're gonna play out the 9-drop mom. 9-drop mom is pretty nice, though it does require a resource from hand, which is a little annoying. This deck sometimes runs a little low on resources, and so discarding a card or trashing a card can sometimes hurt you. So I think I'm potentially just gonna trash that other 9-drop mom, or we're gonna trash the beige here. I think we're gonna maybe keep the 9-drop mom as another play for next turn to get rid of something else. No, never mind. We're gonna get rid of that card. Just get the clunker out of hand, right? Ensure that we have as much counter as we can. We're gonna put that Pedro on the bottom of the life here, and we don't really have anything else to do this turn. We could just swing 5 at lead, but I kind of played the wrong way here. You know, potatoes, right? I should have. Actually, no, my opponent didn't even have Dawn up. Never mind. See, this is the mindset that Bonney puts you in, is you think that they always have one Dawn up even when they don't, and sometimes you just like second guess yourself, right? So if my opponent had a Dawn up there and I sequenced that way, my opponent would have been able to just like tap my Lin and then like you know, attach some Dawn and Hody Jones into it, which would have been pretty annoying. But I do have that Viola up. That Viola blocker, you know, it's doing a little bit of work here. Speaking of blockers, we've got a Hawkins, and if you follow my videos or a frequent viewer, you'll know that I say ignore Hawkins at all times. I give no craps about that card. I don't care that it's a 7k blocker. I don't care that it's unkillable. I'm just gonna go past it, right? I'm just gonna swing over it because you block with it and have to use cards from hand, or you have to use more cards from hand. I don't really care. But Hawkins, not a threat. I don't really care about that card. Yes, it's a little annoying, but it is what it is. Opponent's gonna go ahead and swing 7k into lead. I'm gonna go ahead and elect to take it. That is a 10-drop mom. Spooky. That's the free card that the Linlin got me. We know that I think if we remember the trivia enough, that there is a Sanji in life right above it. We're going to go ahead and block the other attack with the Viola, leaving opponent leaves 1 Dawn open, which basically means my 9-drop mom's going to attack first. We've got the 10-drop mom, which is our nice little play this turn. Again, ace is great, but I'm at 2 life. Ace is not nearly as good here. We're going to swing 9k into lead here. Again, ignoring my opponent's board to the best ability. Ultimately, I have to win the game. If I decide to swing into the Hody Jones, my opponent can just counter out of it, and because I'm only going to commit 9k, right? And then I will just go ahead and play the Big Mom here. Big Mom's going to gain me a life, and it's going to trash a card off the top of the opponent's life there. That is a Carrot. Goodbye, Carrot. Carrot, great card. Not very useful in this matchup, as I typically am going to play 9 and 10 drops, though the one card I am a little afraid of is a Doflamingo. If Doflamingo comes down, that's going to be pretty hard for me, especially if the opponent sees more than one. So that's a little scary, something I have to think about here. Though luckily, I only have one thing rested. I decided not to attack with the pudding just because opponent's got a Hawkins and I couldn't attach it on. It didn't feel like it was worth setting my thing down, as that was one additional target that Doflamingo could potentially keep tapped down if they decided to play the Doflamingo this turn. Instead, they're going to play the Jewelry Bonney. They're going to play Mini Dofi, right? Jewelry Bonney taps freezes a Dawn or freezes a tapped character or a rested character. Going to freeze my 9-drop mom here, but I still got a 10-drop mom, so that's pretty scary here. Opponent's going to have 5 other Dawn to work with here. They're going to swing 8k lead. That 3rd life I have is a free one. I'm just going to take it here. Ooh, and it's a new card, and honestly, you gotta hear me out. This card's a sleeper. I think this card's good. Now, it's not good early in the curve, right? Because it does -2 Dawn, but that's Conquest of the Sea. It's an event. It is a Dawn -2, and then if your leader type includes Big Mom Pirates or Animal Kingdom Pirates, you can KO up to 2 6-cost or less characters. So that's gonna allow me to do kind of a cool little play this turn. Additionally to that, there's a nice little combo in this deck because it does -2 Dawn. If you're at 10 Dawn and your opponent's at 10 Dawn, this does allow you to play the Sanji out for 3 Dawn, right? That's 6k cost Sanji because you'll be 2 or more less Dawn than your opponent. So you can pretty much attach 1 to lead, swing out, Conquest of the Sea, have 3 Dawn open, play Sanji blocker, right? So you used your turn to swing 6k with lead, KO'd 2 of your opponent's threats with 6 or less, and played a blocker out that's a 6k. Pretty solid turn if I say so myself. We do have some aces in hand. Again, aces not very good right now. I think what we're going to do is just full swing and just KO 2 of the 6s here. So opponent's going to tap my leader. There's a 12k at lead. Opponent's just going to take it instead of committing any resources. And then I'm going to here the me attacking with pudding is pretty much tells my opponent what the heck am I doing, what he's about to do, something nonsense, right? Because his whole board's tapped. I'm going to go ahead and use 6 Dawn. We're going to play Conquest of the Sea here. Conquest of the Sea is going to -2 Dawn, and I'm going to KO the Bonney and the Hawkins here. And a little confusion from the opponent's side. He was like, oh, you don't kill Hawkins. I was like, no, I do kill Hawkins. He's like, oh, well, you know, you have to rest something. I get to rest one of your things. And I was like, well, cool, all my stuff's rested. And he's like, oh, okay. So yes, you can get around Hawkins, right? Events can definitely allow you to do that, and that event's pretty solid, especially in this specific turn. And that was another Pedro sitting in the glare that the opponent had played. We're gonna play the Sanji out for 3 Dawn, and then we've got 1 Dawn to work with. That 1 Dawn is gonna be doing nothing here. Gonna be holding up a Radical Beam, and we're gonna pass back to my opponent. I just basically cleared 2 of my opponent's annoying threats. Those were 2 threats that could potentially kill me, right? And dying is not something I want to do in these matchups. I definitely want to try to stay alive to the best of my ability, and so clearing a little bit of my opponent's board while also leaving 1 of the life completely face up, knowing I know that my opponent's going to be getting a 1k off the next attack, so I can definitely plan my combat math a little bit nicely here. My opponent is going to potentially try to go for lethal here. His leader's still tapped, but it's okay, he'll notice in a second. Got 10 Dawn to work with. Could honestly spread it out pretty nicely to try to kill me here. I have 2 2Ks and a 3K, so I have up to 12K worth of count, or up to 12K for my leader here, so I'm likely going to get out of swing. I do have that 2K Sanji, and I also have a blocker on board, so very unlikely that my opponent's going to be able to take me out here. 8K with Hody first, and then there's the noticing that the leader was already tapped from the turn before. And then opponent thinking here how he wants to use the Dawn. He could split it double and just go 10-12, but I would be able to counter out of one of those. Opponent's just going to send 5k lead. I'm going to go 2k out of it, and then opponent's going to use a good portion of the Dawn to play out another Hawkins here, and then use another portion of the Dawn to play out a Rouge. A Rouge is going to set up a Dawn here. That is 3 blockers. 3 blockers, and my opponent's at 1. My opponent did a critical error. He sent me to 1 life, which for those following along means my ace is going to have a rush. So I will be able to swing 12k, 9, or like, I'll go 12k first for sure. He's likely going to tap down my 9k, and then I could go, I could figure something out. I have a lot of attackers, and I have a lot of Dawn to work with. The ace might not even come out this turn, honestly. And we'll see here. My opponent could do something fancy with the Pedro, right? So I could attack with Big Mom, and then he could tap my Sanji to kill the Sanji. But if he taps my Sanji, that means my Linlin's going to attack anyways. So like, I'm not too upset about that specific scenario here. Just thinking how I want to go this turn. I think this is the turn I have to pull for lethal, as don't really have anything else to do here. Opponent has 3 blockers on board. We're just going to go ahead and go with the 12k. Opponent's going to tap 1. He's going to rest the Sanji. He's going to do exactly what I thought he was going to, what he potentially could do. He's going to block with the Pedro, kill the Sanji. That means we're going to go, we'll just go 9k lead here. He's going to block it. Okay, we've got not enough to kill. Or, well, we have, alternatively, we could just go for trying to clear some of his threats. So instead, we're just going to play the ace. We're going to go up. And then, let's see here. We could take out the Hody. We could go 10 into 8. See what happens. I think we're sending that 10. Where's that going? Going to lead. All right, we're just ignoring board. We're just gonna pass. My opponent has 3 swings. I have a ton of counter in hand. That's another 0 cost event. My whole hand is counter. That is 6, 8, 10k counter in hand. Yeah, I don't think I'm dying this turn. Even if my opponent somehow manages to stack their Dawn in some way, because my opponent's got hit with all 3. If they show a Hody Jones, they show a Hody Jones. But showing that Hody Jones makes my combat math a little bit easier, as that's 7 Dawn that they can't use. Opponent here going to go ahead and attach 2, swing 10k lead. I'm going to go ahead and just take that. That's another 2k to hand. I'm up to 12k counter in hand We're making the lottery here. And then we're just going to go ahead and swing another 10k at hand, leaving 5k open to represent another 10k here. If I take this, this is me baiting my opponent into just swinging 10k, right? I might probably going to play a blocker, but it's pretty much out of the game for him. I'm just going to take it, take my hand up to 12k, or up to 13k, and then kind of incentivizing my opponent to go ahead and swing for lethal here. So opponent's going to attach the rest, swing 10 at lead, hoping I bricked the heck out, but I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him what I'm working with here. We're going to go ahead and counter up to 8. All right, show me a little more. 10 and a little more. 11. Going to go ahead and counter with 11. That's only four cards from hand. Pretty nice there. Opponent's going to pass to me here. Opponent has a grip and no blockers, no Dawn up. So you know what that means, everybody. That means we're not even going to draw a card. We're just going to slap. We're so confident in this turn, we don't even draw a card. We're just going to slap 22 at leader here. And opponent's going to go up to 8. 10, yeah, that's obviously not enough. 22 is a lot to counter out of. I do end up taking the game there from my opponent, and yeah, that's the Bonney game there. Bonney didn't see Zoro. Zoro is what we're afraid of. We were able to dodge that, so we ended up pulling it out. And with that, if you enjoyed this type of content, leave a like on the video. Let me know that you appreciate me, and definitely subscribe if you want to see more of this content in the future. Thanks, everybody.